everyone. Thank you for joining us. Welcome to A Laugh and Learn. We're talking about Time Out, the downloaded message that the amazing medium Betsy Palmer got in January. And I weaseled. I didn't have to weasel very hard to get Jaime, Wandering Mountain Bardic Path, to join me.
Sidekick.
Yes. Because let's face it, we all need more medium Betsy Palmer. So, and trust me, I'm working it. So, Betsy, how are you?
I'm doing very well, thank you. I am doing so well. My hair is still wet from the ocean. I just came out of the water with two of the girls, two of the mermaid squad, just about an hour ago.
Yay.
And Jaime, how are you?
Peachy.
and Jaime just got some packages, and we'll find out who they're from later.
And Gerald, how are you today, sir?
I am doing very well, and I said to these amazing people, I'm very happy to be surrounded by this amazing and powerful women. So I'm the lucky one, and you all get to share. Jamie's rolling her eyes; I can feel it. She's like, "Shut up, Gerald." But tough. It's my show. It's okay. As always, this is for entertainment purposes only. Do not make decisions based upon what we say. Seek professional assistance. Really. So
Really. Sorry, I missed my cue. My apologies.
That's all right. You're distracted. Now
I'm stopping now.
I love it. Beth is like going, ooh, packages. I just got a package. Compression socks. Wahoo! I love that. And always need some MBP, medium Betsy Palmer. And Kaylee is going to be on, we're doing a deck casual with Kaylee on Friday for her dog Lenormand. So everybody like and subscribe. So, and I just got home from the gym. Good for you.
Hi, Jonathan.
Good on, man.
Can we make decisions in spite of what you say? I would highly encourage that, Robin.
Absolutely not, Robin. What do you think you have? Free will? What?
Dude. So, okay.
Wait, Jonathan, if you have time to go to lunch on Wednesday, let me know. I know you're getting ready to go to New Zealand, but if you can go to lunch on Wednesday, please let me know.
Like tomorrow?
Oh, whoops. Not like tomorrow.
Okay.
I'm a little discombobulated on days.
It's okay. I have been discombobulated on days for about the last 5 months. Beth is here. Kaylee. We have Jane the Seeker Tarot.
Oh, Jane. Have you texted him yet? Have you told him?
Oh, that
inquiring minds want to know
that you're an evil person, that you were the devil and sent her a Kickstarter for a. I'm missing hello. Sorry. Oh, you're eating finger food. No, because I actually did get something from Jane that says Jaime is. Is it another channel takeover? Okay, that works. So I do want to say to the newest grandmama, Debbie Aquarius Owl, is here.
I love her pictures.
Hey, Hershey.
It's great to see everybody. Artist Liz, hello. Joanne Miranda. And if I've missed anyone, my apologies. Maru, Artist Liz, Amanda Carroll, Anna Gringage. So, okay. I'm just getting caught up because Betsy is bubbling with energy just from this, I can tell. Is that still true?
Yes.
That's my bubble dance.
Wait a minute. Do that again. I'll put you on the big screen if you'd like.
Nope.
Okay. But Robin, that could happen, but it also could happen that I have a topic that I might want to have you on for a show. So, and Hershey is here. Hello. She is packing and clearing out things. Hypnicity. Good to see. Good to see you. And virtual plans. Jaime, can you meet me next week for a forest bath near you?
Ooh.
I tiny finger foods, Jane. And hey, look away.
Drum roll, please.
Come on, there we go. Are you eating your finger foods with tiny hands? So anyhow,
why could I envision a tiny chicken leg in there?
Right. I did send Tiny Hands home with the rat owner, though, so I should have photos.
Good. So this is a show. I have been blessed because Betsy and I touched base in early January, about a message that she got downloaded from her guides. Mm-hmm. Because we have been talking about this feeling that, and many of us have been talking about it, about feeling off. Things are just not right. Yeah. And Betsy, you and I've done shows about this and grounding and finding your balance and things like that. So, Beth has mentioned moist, tiny hands.
Beth.
She's encouraging, and and by the way, Betsy, I did send that picture to Jaime that you sent. Ruin a movie title by adding the word moist. It's hilarious.
Oh man, I thought so many. The Moist Suspects, Not Desperately Moistening Susan. Oh my God.
Desperately Moistening Susan.
Yeah.
Holy.
So
I went crazy.
So for those of you who are watching, thank you. I know you have a lot of things to do, and you sharing your time and your space with us is wonderful.
Glorious.
And Jaime, I keep having the phrase hidden snail running through my mind in relation to the Nine of Pence in context of crouching tiger, hidden dragon. But what would be crouching?
Oh.
I always, every single Nine of Pentacles that Gerald and I run across, and if there is none, we always look and we say, oh, there it is. It's right there in the shadows. It's in the bushes.
Yep.
So you can have a crouching snail.
You can. So Betsy.
Yes, Gerald.
I'm not going to put you in the hot seat, but okay. This is a message that you got as it relates to a whole sort of things. So
indeed.
Go for it.
Interestingly enough, it came on January 6th. Which it just didn't click for me until last night. I was like, wait a minute. That was January 6th. Anyway, so I was watching a YouTube video, and Gerald has put it in the comments on the chat. And I also have it on my Facebook page. Anybody that's on my Facebook page, I put the link to the reading for January as well as, anyway, it's there. So, and what she was talking about was the inspiration for this year in particular is finding comfort in uncertainty. And I had been extremely uncomfortable for months prior to this. I felt disillusioned and disenfranchised from my spiritual team. I felt a distance from them, that I was not able to feel their presence around me as I am accustomed to. Yeah. I was not getting continual information as I am accustomed to. I mean, it's the old joke when people say, if your ears are ringing, that means your spirit guides are trying to get through to you. And my joke is always, wait, you mean sometimes your ears don't ring? Huh? What? So I had been, and the more people I was speaking to in my spiritual community, people were reporting kind of the same thing, that it felt like there was a bit of a distancing or not a nearness. And I'm not sure that anybody really knew how to describe it completely. And for some reason or other, when I watched this video, everything just clicked into place, that things were going topsy-turvy by design, that, you know, astrologists have been talking about these times for a long time. And so after watching it, I wrote down, wondering what it will take to get back to connection. And that I knew that astrology at the time was Mars in retrograde, and Cancer squaring off against Pluto, destruction and dismantling. And a reader said it will be a very important time to listen to your intuition through April and during this phase. And so I just stopped and I said, well, what does that mean for we psychics? And the answer came straight away. And I'm just reading off my journal, guys, so bear with me.
No, it's okay.
And this was the quote. It was pretty much verbatim here. We have given you a break, a resting period. It is meant for those who have not developed their own intuition or intuitive relationship with their higher source. You beautiful intuitives have been doing all the psychic and spiritual energetic work for the 3D world for a very long time. You have held up the pillars of hope for centuries. Now is the time to allow the material world to regulate their lives for themselves, reap what they have sown, and enjoy the results they have produced.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
And the more I thought about it, I'm getting chicken skin all over my body again. The more I thought about it, it made more sense, because I was really trying to find every reason possible to not be able to book readings, and I was not feeling confident in them. People were asking really different questions than what would normally be for me, but everybody's been freaked out. Everybody wants to feel safe right now. They want to know they're going to be okay in the future. We all want that.
Was it because you felt that disconnect that you were uncomfortable?
A little bit of both.
Okay.
I mean, there was a lot going on for me in the 3D world, that things were going in a direction I wasn't thrilled with. But yes, feeling disconnected from the guides left me feeling adrift and a little bit lost, because I've relied on them moment to moment for so long, and always felt like my team was steering the ship, and I was on the ride doing everything I could to keep us going in the right direction. But I always felt like it wasn't necessarily my will for the situations coming along. But I always felt protected, and I completely trusted that things were going to work out okay all the time. And that wasn't happening anymore. I had no sense of everything's going to be great. So,
and you know, I want to pause you there. We've had more people come in. Thank you, everyone, for being here. This is one of those things, and you said it a bit in passing, Betsy. Is you were like, you mean your ears don't ring all of the time?
You're right.
And for many of us in the community, we have some sort of I would call it a connection, an affinity for. There's a feeling of always not walking alone, whether it be feathers, ringing, songs, anything like that. And it's like, you know, it reminds me of like when suddenly the power goes out and all of the din is just gone. And suddenly it's like, what the hell just happened? And so, and hands up for people who understand what I mean by that, because, and part of that is, oh, yes.
Sorry, I have some wine back here. I'll get some cheese in a minute. Okay.
No. But I think that's it's a really important thing, because suddenly when that stops, it's almost a wait a minute. I don't know what to do, which is exactly what we have been feeling since, I would say, probably since, for me, since August, September. It's this
Yes.
feeling of all of that going away.
Yes.
So
I concur 100%.
So people in the chat, have you noticed that changed? Because initially, Betsy, when I was, when you shared this message with me, it's very much like it was that idea of is everybody else has to bring it. They have to do their part, because right now we're at this level, and until everything else gets linked in, we're not going to be able to do what we need to do.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to sit down and think about it, and because yeah, I'm gonna have to think about it to see how long the disconnect has been.
Mm-hmm. And Joanne said the silence behind the noise is how I describe it. And yeah, Nalani says, I feel like I've been in limbo for 4+ years.
Girl, I feel for you. 4 months, and I was like off my rocker, because I was like, well, what, you mean I got to do this on my own without my gang? What do you mean? What do you mean, me? Who? Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah. So, okay. So I think this is interesting. It's almost like we're taken out, and we get to watch what happens. So
yes. And now to come back to the astrology lady, she said, in early January, getting closer to mid-January, our job is to be a spectator of our own reality and to find comfort in uncertainty. And it not for nothing, Gerald and I were talking backstage about, wait a minute, we've been doing all these laugh and learns about responsibility and grounding and knowing yourself and comfort in the gray area, and all of this stuff we were doing last year, and it all seems to kind of be resonating.
Yeah. We did have a question from Amanda Carroll. Wait a minute. Are we supposed to find comfort in discomfort, or simply allow the moist blanket to be? And I think, the first part of that is because we got to find comfort in being uncomfortable, And
yeah, it's that whole gray area thing.
Yeah.
We all like the swing of the pendulum. We all like to know, is it this way or is it that way? But when you're in the middle and there's this a perceived waiting period to find the answers, yeah, that's that discomfort spot, right?
Yeah.
And how do we fight it? By saying, this is uncomfortable, make it one way or the other, I don't care which way, just make it one way or the other? Or do we say, I'm looking forward to finding out the person I will be when I know the answer?
I can't change it, so why sit there and pull at the ley lines and freak out about it,
Yeah.
Well, and Amanda says, comfort in uncertainty I can handle. And I would also say is when I stop fighting against what comes naturally to me, things flow better, and I find comfort. It's a very, be the water instead of the rock, be the mountain. And so, by the way, the best chatters are really bringing it. Like you were watching an army on the horizon, but not knowing when they will arrive. I think that's part of it, because, and Betsy, correct me if I'm wrong, part of this is we don't know how long this is going to last. And truer words have never been spoken. I try to shine my light anyway, because I am a firm believer that when we shine our light, we do our work, no matter how small or how large, it impacts the whole. Deb, Purple Elephant, and I have talked about the healing grid, and whatever you do to the best of your ability and share it with the grid. And that grid is accessible, because if you are doing you as authentically as you can today, that makes an impact.
Mm-hmm.
And lots of little impacts are huge. Beth said, it took me a few months to get my sea legs. I have them now. Intuition, check. Yoga, check. Resistance and energy, check. Hopefully I can stay here for a while. I love that you know what it is that you are needing.
Right.
Because sometimes I don't always know what it is that I need.
No.
And so what I did in January, well, actually it was in December, I decided, well, I was taking off the holiday season, Christmas, New Year's time. I was not going to book any readings. And I felt such a sense of relief after 3 weeks making that decision. I decided I'm going to close for January. So I did. And
wow.
I felt so much of a greater sense of relief. I said, okay, I'm closing in February too. And 2 weeks ago, I went in online and just marked my business close, and I have no plans of reopening. I'm gonna revisit in July. Something may come up. I may get inspired any day. I have no idea. But until I feel back to what I understand is normal for me, yeah.
What do you do if there's a new normal, though?
I'll find that out. I don't know that answer yet.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not meant to do readings anymore. I mean, at one point I messaged somebody that the only thing that I was offering was intuitive development workshop.
Yeah.
And that person was all excited to do it until they realized they had to pay for it. And so I would teach intuitive development. I would do that and be happy with that. But as far as doing readings in this time, there's just so much up in the air right now. How could I possibly be of any help to anyone?
Well, and I want to applaud you for realizing that taking that, putting your business in time out.
Yeah.
Takes a lot of strength to be able to do that. I think the strongest people are the ones who make those hard choices, even though they may not seem popular, but they're the right thing for them.
Yeah.
When I get caught up in chat, Hypnicity said, I started watching people I disagree with to try to find a common ground. Kudos to you if you can do that. To be honest with you, I can lose my patience. So Pamela said, I don't think I should feel comfortable at this moment in time. I think go ahead, Betsy.
No, that's great.
That makes a lot of sense to me. Surrendering to neutral was a must for Hypnicity. And Michelle Marie is here, and Jonathan, hello. Jonathan Daly said, I've shifted my focus to self-care and physical fitness and health. Since I started working out, I have felt calming in mind, spirit, and even with the disconnect. Good for you.
He looks like $1 million, folks. I can attest to that.
Good for you. Kaylee said, this past week, I've tapped into my intuition without any thought for the first time in my life. It feels like it's been the oddest feeling. What's happening to me? It's like, well, isn't that sort of grand? I don't know. Maybe you're recognizing your high priestessness?
Yes.
Cool. That's
Boom.
cool.
Yeah, that's great. And
Yeah, tell your guys to send a little back my way. Just
Beth says, I'm a Virgo double Capricorn. I seem to thrive on resistance. It fuels me. I'd like not to have to do so much, but it is what it is. And sounds like chop wood, carry water moment. It's a very good point. Are you familiar with that idea? What do you do before enlightenment? Chop wood and carry water. What do you do after enlightenment? Chop wood and carry water.
yeah.
So, and Michelle Marie said the eclipses are going right over you and Jonathan this month, Kaylee. So it's like, whew.
Yeah.
Growth minus growth, embrace it. Oh, there you go. So there you go. Kaylee's okay. Go for it. We're caught up on chat.
Dun, dun, dun.
So, yeah. So I was thinking about when I got this message about light workers have held space for raising the vibration and been doing the work, laying the foundations for a really long time. And now it's time for a time out because, you can tell how much foundation work we've laid because it's matched by the opposite, which is pretty intense right now. And so I got to thinking about it. Well, how long have we been doing that? And I'm just rummaging around through my mind. And it occurred to me, it's been 40 years. So a little resting time is not that's reasonable. A little breaky break. But also for the world to express itself, which is, this one's a rough one for me because I didn't imagine that our world was that, what it's turned out to be globally. I mean, there's a lot of pressure about being controlled, not being autonomous in our own societies, to being controlled and dictated to, and to not really have the freedom to decide where you fit in society. That we're being told right now, you're either at the top or you're all at the bottom. There's only room for so much at the top. And really, I mean, as light workers, other than holding that space of love and non-judgment and forgiveness, what action really would we be able to do as light workers? I mean, it's not like we're all going to get together and go out in the street, we're all scattered throughout the globe. And this is something that I was told, in the latter part of the 90s, I was kind of grumbling to my guides about not having a tribe. And they're like, well, no, you can't all be clustered here together. You're needed worldwide. You got to be there and there and there and there. We got to spread you out. You can't just be in a cluster. So, I mean, the thought of light workers rallying in the street, but what can we do? We can keep showing up as the person we want the universe to recognize us as. We can do that. Doesn't matter if anybody else sees it. The universe knows, and just keep showing up as that person. Yeah.
And that's hard because when we're used to interacting with the larger world, it can be very disconcerting. And who said? Lauren said, I'm taking a time out, keeping my world small on purpose. It has been refreshing. I think, it's like your bubble. Back in the day, back in 4 years ago, 5 years ago, we were needing the bubble. What's really important, I think, is to stay focused on our small world and our local, but also have an awareness about the global and know what we can do. And that's about as political as I'm going to get. So,
yeah.
And I'm done. I've washed my tiny hands of that.
And I concur about the refreshing aspect of this.
Mm-hmm.
I, instead of feeling lost, when I made the decision to close my business, that was when I began feeling empowered and assertive and standing up for myself and finding a new voice. And it was refreshing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And Linda has been feeling a little disconnected for a whole year now. Occasionally I'll plug in, but mostly I'm in the dark.
And it's okay. It's okay. Because think about all the souls you've been holding space for. And they say they're interested, but they're not doing the work. And now they get to enjoy the results of that.
Mm-hmm.
Because as long as we keep propping people up, propping them up, you know, it's a little bit like enabling, right? Propping up. But unless people are really willing to do the work, and the inner journey is not for everyone, it's not required, it takes a lot of courage. And if it's not your path, it's not your path. That's okay. But don't keep circling back saying you want it and not acting, right? And for those that don't want it at all, great. If you think there's something to be concerned about in a world such as I know, if there's something alarming to you about that and you want to focus strictly on the material world, well, great. Go enjoy the things that you've made.
And I would say do that at the best of your ability, because I'm also a person who, for those of us who have a spiritual aspect of ourselves, which is everybody, by the way, not just, you know, people who are watching, everybody does. But when we do things in a way that we do them with intention, it actually makes the mundane a bit more magical. And that little bit, it's like I don't know about when someone who loves you, like your mother, would make you chicken noodle soup when you were feeling bad. It actually, yes, medically, you know, it works. But come on, mom's love. I mean, it's that little added touch.
Chicken soup and matzo balls, sir.
Excuse me. Yes. And, yeah, artist Liz said, I've been too plugged into politics for a decade now, and I'm tired and I'm sick. Pull back. And Jacqueline Anderson, hello. I am sorry that your grief is winning for a few days. I'm glad you're here. Take a sip of water. Hydrate. So, Lauren says, I keep hearing my dad's teaching. Just leave them with it, girl. It is not yours to deal with. I am understanding that teaching at a soul level now.
Yeah, there's a book by Mel Robbins about the let them theory that is along the same lines, that is spectacular.
Isn't it also, I am not a parent, nor do I claim to be one. But isn't there an idea about parenting is that you have to let kids figure out, they have to fall down, they have to pick themselves up. And part of the hardest thing to do is, as a parent, is to watch them struggle. And then they figure it out. And it's like, okay. So, I don't know.
My mantra for a long time, when I see something, a situation, and it can be frustrating, you can clearly see that a simple shift or whatever. And I was always the person that had to have the why to everything. Situation came up. I wanted to know why. I wanted to break it apart, unpack it. I needed them answers. And then I came to a place in life where I just said, why is it like that? Because that's the way they like it.
Mm-hmm.
And that's good enough for me. That has saved me so much anguish.
Yeah. Jacqueline said, you have to let them fall in, especially when young, so the stakes aren't so high. Our job is to teach them how to make the right choices because we won't always be there. Mm-hmm.
Can I take a personal moment here?
Yes.
Can we feel a little sympathy and pain for Stephen because he left the house with fits about 10 minutes ago, and it is now pouring like sheets of water outside. I don't think that Fitz has a coat on. I bet you he's hiding under a tree. Sorry. It's just really loud.
Oh my gosh.
Sorry.
Bless you, Stephen. You're a wonderful person. So,
yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Beth said, absolutely. Children have to have little issues to deal with themselves when they're little so they can learn as they grow and the problems get bigger. And Haley said, having cord cuttings have helped me in to breathe and step back, especially in regard to friends. Yeah. This is a powerful conversation, and I think what's really interesting is when this is uncomfortable, you know. And yes, I stuttered those words on purpose because y'all know what word I'm thinking. It's horrible. Change is hard. We can understand the change, but going through the transition, that's what is really, really challenging because nothing is certain. Everything that we've known, everything that we've been comfortable with is no longer there.
Yeah.
So
I think it really is interesting watching people do horrible things on purpose and know that they're doing horrible things, that they're harming other people, and they're doing it with glee. I'm astounded.
They've been empowered.
Huh?
Yeah.
They've been empowered.
Yes. You know, my sister and I were talking about family influence around money, that my mother's parents were affluent and they were self-made people, but they were really bigoted and snooty. And my sister and I were talking about what horrible people they were. And she said, yeah, because they were rich. They were horrible. I said, no. They were already horrible people. Money just gave them the privilege of believing they could say whatever they wanted to out loud all of a sudden. It was really, yeah. But I think it's going to be really powerful when the little guy that has felt so powerless for so long and so full of outrage gets to see what his direction and what he wanted actually creates for himself. I think that's going to be a really powerful moment. What it will take to get to that point, I don't know. Hopefully it won't be another world war, but you know, the people that could report about the atrocities of the last World War, they're all gone now. So there's no more verbal firsthand stories about what it truly brings you.
Except for in banned books.
Well, but that means that somebody with an opposing view has to be motivated to pick up that book, and they won't.
I know.
But the people that experienced it speak it personally is a little bit different.
Yeah.
Right. Can we go back to the inner child comment about teaching children about their inner child? I think we need to teach adults to take care of their inner child too, because your inner child never ever goes away. You know, you always have some sort of arrested something inside with that child, whether you had a perfect childhood, medium trauma, no trauma, whatever, you still have that inner child. And we as adults need, if we weren't taught, we need to learn to take care of that child and nurture that child and talk to that child.
Yeah.
So that's my personal opinion, of course.
I agree. I feel like a big portion of why the right-leaning movement has gained so much momentum is because people are completely without any sort of emotional intelligence.
Yeah, I do have, yeah. Okay, I am going to, I am taking advantage of this moment part of taking care of your inner child involves creativity.
Oh, see, there you go. No, there
And
you go.
I have to do this. On Thursday, I am starting a new series. It's called Creativity Conversations. First episode is Thursday at 2 p.m. Eastern. It's with Jane the Seeker, Linda Day Gonzalez, and Zane from Tarot Token Witchery. I am going to be having lots and lots of these conversations.
Mhm.
So for those of you out there who are willing to get on camera and want to talk about creativity, I think creativity is a wonderful form of resistance.
Mhm.
And it's important for us to keep talking about it because I think it's really, really important. And Donna, hello. And I do want to point this out. Jacqueline Anderson said, my trans son, I'm teaching them a lesson it took me too long to learn. We are enough as we are.
Mm.
Kudos to you. And, back to what Jaime was talking about is the idea of the inner child. The young ones around us and the people around us learn by observation. If we say, oh, I'm going on an artist date, I'm going to go be creative, or I need to put myself in a timeout and that's okay, that's a powerful lesson.
Mhm.
So, okay, I'm getting caught up. Beth says, I love how we're all having parallel discussion that interact spiritually or
That intersect spiritually.
And Linda said, uncomfortable is an understatement for me. I don't even like to talk about it. I feel so vulnerable. And that is strength and being powerful because you're doing it. It makes it okay for other people to share as well. So,
Well, don't we all want to feel safe?
yes.
Sure.
But the simple fact is, safety is an illusion. It's a complete illusion.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we can ride along in our day and pretend that we're not really clued into that. But nobody is guaranteed any new moment.
Hmm.
Facts.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And I think we probably all have to come to examine what safety means for us. And if it takes something really big and powerful to get our attention about it, well, here we are. We get to look at it. And it can only benefit you to go into self-examination about what safety and security means for you.
Mhm.
And you don't have to go in full force. You can sort of peek in the windows and look at it and then walk away and then go have a cup of coffee and never revisit it. Or you can actually knock on the door and see and get professional help if you need it. This is where you have professionals who are really, really good at helping people with this.
Yeah, I think the inner journey encompasses all of it. It encompasses all the different beings that we are: physical, non-physical, emotional, everything. And attend to it. There's great people to help you along the way. Attend to it.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yes. There are great comments in chat, and obviously I'm missing a lot of them. So my apologies. Keep it going. So, and hypnosis is like when I am a work in progress, a WIP.
I like.
Yes. Creativity is so key for the healing, for healing the world. Yes. Art is inherently resistance. Well, if you come on the show, we can talk about that. How's that for a thing? Oh yeah, I remember the Gorilla Girls.
I don't know them.
The Gorilla Girls were a group of art activists who went out and did a whole lot of things. It's like,
Yeah.
yeah, yes, we are Garnet, and There you go. Jacqueline said, my love language is emotional safety. I like that.
Cool.
So, here you go. Heart and earth both, require art, because without art, earth is just eh. So,
Yeah.
yep. Music and art. Yes. So, okay. Do you realize that we've been on for 45 minutes already? It doesn't feel like that to me.
Yeah.
It's like, boom. So
you guys know where I am at the moment with my spiritual connection, disconnection. How about you guys?
I will go first because I know Jaime is, is the hubby and the dog back yet?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
They came back halfway. The kids didn't like it at all.
Yeah. Oh, of course not.
Now you would have to go first anyway because I have an addendum. But anyway, go.
Okay. So how am I doing with all of this? I have actually been really limiting I've been keeping my world small of information because I am not, I'm tired of people sharing things that they're sharing on social media because they think it's helping, when in fact what it's doing, it's just wearing down my compassion for them. Because this is just Gerald, for entertainment purposes only, because it doesn't feel, they've not really considered what they're saying. They're just forwarding something instead of, I don't know how you feel about this. Do you agree with it? Do you disagree with it? I mean, tell me what it has done when it's gone through your thought process. So if that makes any sense, I want to know how this is impacting people. What are they doing with it? Because if I know what they're doing with it, I can go, oh, wow, I've never thought of that. Or, I tried that. It didn't work for me. This worked for me. And I'm like, and the other thing is I, I find it very disconcerting. And Beth said something about this, like Aristotle. It's like theater. Oh, Beth, I'm going to so brutalize this. The idea of is if people see theater and it fills the need to have resistance. So if they go and passively observe, then does that mean that they're not actually getting riled up in reality when people need to do something? And my apologies, Beth, for this. Yeah, it's just one of those things that it's just like, I'm wondering if social media is really, it feels like it's very much making it less impactful. It's taking the us out of it, and it's the us versus them instead of we. The tank man has been on my mind so much lately. His one action brought the fall of the Soviet bloc. He took the monumental stand, but also the fact that the tank stopped was its own statement too. True. So, did I answer your question? I'm a bit, and I've been getting lots of rumblings. It's like going, things must not, in order to be healthy, the soil has to be tilled. And in order to till the soil, it's going to disrupt what has been there. But then it gives me the ability to plant new things and to do new things with it. But that sweat, that struggle of doing that work is really hard. Aristotle believed theater got in the way of active political involvement because it provides a cathartic release, and then you do nothing. That's what I was talking about.
Okay.
So, yeah. Jaime, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
Well, so I'm going to try and not, gosh, it's so hard to have conversations like this sometimes because everything relates back to the spiritual realm, right? And the place that I connect the most right now is on Tuesdays with Gerald, and then other people that come along. Hi, Betsy, and Kaylee and Zane and things like that. I think my world shifted about 2 years ago, and then like I said, it all has to do with who I am and grounding to the earth and all of that stuff. But when my mom passed in 2017, I then found out 4 months later that I have a biological sister who's 10 years older than me. Had no idea. Apparently, she contacted my mom when I was 22, that kind of thing, right? And so it made me start to look at history. What are my gaps? What are the gaps in the history that I know of where I live? Right. And so I started looking at communities and reading from the perspective of someone that is different from me, whether it's indigenous, because we have 200 some odd tribes in, nations in this area, all down the coast and everything. So reading the history from their perspective, right, and what they knew and what I didn't learn, knowing my Jewish history and knowing what I didn't learn, right, and then history from a Black man's perspective and what he learned and what he grew up with in his culture, right, in his community, what his parents taught him, what his grandparents taught him versus what he was taught in school. And so it's kind of like a clash of all of this information that then I have to figure out. I'm a very good compartmentalizer. I have to figure out how to disseminate some of that and tuck it in a corner of that's not mine to own. And then try not to shut down all the beautiful magical stuff that comes in from the ether, because I'm so weighed down with the sadness of it all and the verbiage of it all. And the one thing that I do realize is that and it kind of goes to some of the things that Betsy said, I can do nothing about it. I can only control who I am in this moment and how I react to it in this moment and how I carry forward the information in a positive way as opposed to, further burying it or whatever. But I think it all kind of weaves in together with what Betsy received. I just don't know that I had the clarity in which she was given to understand that, hey, that's actually what has happened. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. Got it well stated, Jaime.
Well, it's hard to put the words together because sometimes it's just you, not you, not the collective. You just go through your day to get through your day because you don't have the sound. The sound has been shut off.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And so you're trying to find the sound, but then you also have all of this information and crap coming at you. So, yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And another thing that this download provided me that's been really helpful for me is knowing that what's going on right now, it's not my job.
Right.
And there's an element of, like you were talking about, Jaime, I can really relate to this feeling of sadness.
Mm-hmm.
Because I didn't realize the size of the opposite side of the pendulum. I just didn't realize the size of it and the strength of it. and it caught me by surprise. And I went through a period of, and it was pretty small, of hopelessness.
Mm-hmm.
But this is where the universe does come back and talk to me about balance, to remember the balance, that it's not going to be over there forever.
Mm-hmm.
Balance will return. Balance will return. And then there will be a time when I do have a job to do again in it. But this isn't it. This is really the time for people that have differing opinions and perceptions. They get to shine in their perceptions.
And I am hopeful that in the opportunity that people have to shine, that some of them suddenly go, maybe I don't think that way anymore, or I don't feel that way. It is going to allow some more people. It's like Mr. Rogers' mother always said, notice the heroes, notice the people who step up, notice the people who are doing something that they haven't done before, because it's the right thing to do. It's the best thing to do. That's really, really hard.
Mm-hmm.
Really, really hard. So, and hi, Jen. And
Hi, Henry.
Hi, Hen.
So,
Yeah.
And I think, look for the helpers. Do we have any words of advice for people?
Give yourself permission to take care of yourself, right? Put yourself in the number one priority. I'm not saying if you have young children to ignore them. That's not what I'm saying. This is more about the spiritual aspect for me. This is how it relates for me and what I can speak of, because I'm not a parent. I don't have young kids. I'm not a caregiver of any sort. My role in service was feeling that my business was pretty much word of mouth. I really don't do the marketing thing. I don't try the monetization thing. I figured if Spirit needs somebody to hear a particular message and they think I'm an appropriate vessel to convey the message, that person will be put in front of me. And that's the way I felt about that. So I had to give myself permission to know that I could not be of help right now, and that it was okay for me not to feel like I was doing something wrong, that I'm not turning my back on my spiritual team at this time. I had to give myself permission to step back and take care of me.
Yeah. Any words of advice, Jamie?
I think Betsy did a damn fine job. You know?
Yeah. I also think what Betsy said. I'm like going, it's one of these things that it's just like going, well, Gerald, you've got this to say. And it's like, no, it's not good. I think taking care of ourselves is a really key thing. And giving ourselves permission to take care of ourselves, giving ourselves permission to be angry, to be sad, to be joyful, to however we feel. Allow that time. This is the year of the hermit. 2025 is a 9 year. It's a hermit. Give ourselves the ability to understand the depth of ourselves. Betsy said, and support the voices and helpers that we do hear and see. Yes.
And Gerald, I thank you for reminding about the hermit, because of the one thing that we all know, the hermit always has that lantern.
Yep. And the hermit, this is the time to go, do I want to keep doing this? Or do I want to stop doing that so that I can do something else? So do what you can when you can for as long as you can. Yeah, give to each other and share with our fellow walkers. Yes. So yeah, take what you can use and leave the rest behind.
And observation, right? It feels like standing on a mountaintop right now, watching what's going on, and to know that it's okay. That's really okay, just to observe, and not go racing down the hill and getting in the fray and yeah, whatever which way, trying to oppose it or trying to join it or trying to make a point or whatever. Just to observe it is okay. It really is okay.
Yeah, sometimes we just being the light is all we need to do.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's all we can do. And you know, in that idea of observation, you know, I don't even want to pop popcorn to watch this, because this is not that sort of observation. This is hard and deep observation for all of us. All of us. So,
yeah.
Wow.
Earth is a playpen. It's doing its job.
Mm-hmm.
It's called Earth the playpen all the time.
Yes.
All the time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, that's so very true. Thank you, Betsy.
No, thank you guys.
Thank you, Jaime.
Thank you. It's so good to see you both. It seems like it's been forever, and I've missed you so.
Has been.
Well, it hasn't been quite that long, but it has felt like a long time. And when we're finished, I'm going to figure out when Betsy is available to do a creativity conversation, and we'll get that scheduled. So, you know, stay tuned. So,
stay tuned.
Yeah. Thank you all for this connection. We all need it. Yes. Yes. So, everyone, thank you very much for being here. It has been wonderful sharing space with you. Again, I know you've got a lot of options for your time, but thank you for spending a little bit of time with us. And we shall say farewell. Bye.
A hui ho.